Our CIMA FLP report has been released for free online. Whether you're looking to get into a career change and start doing some accountancy, or whether you've already decided to and are looking to see which route suits you better out of the traditional route or the new FLP route, this document has got you covered. So I thought today it would be fun to dive into the different stats and facts of the report, looking at the key details and most importantly, looking to see what our students have to say about the new FLP, which will be most applicable to you as prospective students. So let's get stuck into some of the key information from our FLP report. Before we go any further though, let's first run over what the FLP actually is. So, it's a relatively new route to CIMA or CGMA qualification that has been brought out by CIMA in the last couple of years. The key difference between the FLP route and the traditional route is the massive reduction in the number of exams students need to take. So, with the old traditional route, there would be 16 exams in total, a lot of these being OT exams. But with the new FLP route, there are now only 3 exams that students have to take in timed conditions, these being the case study exams. Okay, so that means this route is pretty good for students who aren't that big on exams, who struggle under timed conditions, and who prefer the degree of flexibility and the possibility of self-study that comes with not having to book exams in so rigidly. Instead of those OT exams that come with the traditional route, students take lots of little assessments as they go through the FLP platform. And these assessments, once all passed, combine to mean the same things as the OT exam. Now, we think the FLP platform is pretty great, but it's definitely very reading focused. And that's where the Astranti FLP course comes in, which gives study texts, which are a lot more kind of easily digestible and in a kind of chattier style, and then also our tuition videos. So depending on what type of learner you are, might depend whether you would just want to go with the CIMA FLP platform, or maybe start thinking about getting an Astranti course as well. So that's the basics out of the way. It's worth saying you'll be able to find much more detail on the comparison of the 2 different routes in the report itself. And I should also say at this point that the report also lists the numerous advantages of the traditional route. It's not a case of one's better than the other, or at least we don't think so here at Astranti. It's purely suited to different learners and taking into account that everyone likes to learn at different paces and in different styles. So have a look at the report in more detail to get even more of a feel for which one might be for you. But what do CIMA students think of the new FLP route? Well, we wanted to know, and so we asked our students, and that's what a lot of the report compromises as well. And one really important thing that came out of our questions was the fact that a lot of our OT course members, our traditional course members, are interested in the FLP. So we had 68% of our traditional course members say if they were starting again, they would probably choose the FLP over the route they had taken. And the 2 key reasons given for this, well, the biggest one was flexibility. So with the FLP route, you get to choose when you study a lot more, you don't have to tie yourself down to a certain exam date, and so obviously it's a lot easier to have a more flexible study. The second one was the possibility of quick progression. Now, the FLP is relatively new, and so there's not a lot of data on progression speed and that sort of thing, but the general consensus seems to be that if it is possible to move faster through the FLP route because you don't have to wait to take exams, you can just keep on going. So those are the 2 main reasons. Interestingly though, when we asked our actual FLP students what had made them choose the FLP, a whopping 66.7% said it was the lack of OT exams over flexibility and over potential for fast progression. So it's clear that to people on the FLP, they're very happy with the lack of exams and their route. The other really nice thing for us to find out was about the level of satisfaction our FLP students have with their course. So we asked them to rate their level of happiness with the course out of 5, with 5 stars being excellent, a top level of happiness. And the average score from the average student was 4.87 stars out of 5. So pretty excellent if you ask me. Overall, 76% of all the students we asked thought that the FLP route would be easier as a qualification than the traditional route. However, it's not all about how easy things are. Becoming an accountant isn't really a job people go into because they think it's going to be easy. It's also about which route will produce the most competent accountants. And there was some really quite interesting data there as well. So, when we asked our massive students what they thought, which route they thought would produce better accountants, we did this last year, and we had 30% of students say that they thought the FLP would produce better accountants. So this time last year, it was basically a third thought the FLP would be better, a third thought that the traditional route would be better, and a third thought that it would make no difference. However, this year, that number's down to only 19%. So only 19% of our students think that the FLP route will produce better accountants. However, whilst that is a bit of a knock for the FLP, or at least in terms of our students' perception of it, it is worth saying that there are now 41% of our students who think that it makes no odds whatsoever. So overall, the majority think it doesn't really make a difference. It's also worth thinking here that the end product is still the same. So everyone's going to come out of it CIMA qualified or CGMA qualified if they go that extra step. And there's no difference in the piece of paper you get at the end of the traditional or the FLP route. Okay, so I've bombarded you with some stats there. That's enough for today. I promise you that not all of our videos are going to be so information heavy in the future, but I thought this was quite interesting and worth breaking down for anyone who's tossing up ideas between the two routes. If this interested you, please go check out the report. It's free to access, like I said, and it'll be linked in the comments down below. We've got whole sections that I haven't been able to go over here, such as a whole section on our own expert advice on which one you should choose for yourselves. Also, I would love to know in the comments, which team are you on? Are you Team OT, Team FLP? Are you taking the traditional route? Do you wish you were on the FLP? Let me know, I'd love to find out. Anyway, until next time, have a lovely week.